Episode 11 is a fruitful and super informative discussion on travel and tourism. It's going to present to you some amazing details in different countries around the globe and leave you with some fun facts that are going to eventually channelize into an innovative itinerary. Today I have with me my college buddy Siddhant, who's a complete travel buff. It's more like a passion to him apart from his interest in politics and cricket. He has studied in 3 different countries being UAE, UK and India and knows 11 different national anthems. He can also impersonate people in 30 different accents. My man's a star and today he's going to cancel out that boring travel plan of yours to introduce you to some of the best and most culturally diverse countries. Stay tuned till the end for a short gig by Siddhant on his accent impressions. You're going to be flabbergasted, I promise. Hey Siddhant, welcome to Out of the Hood. Finally, I think we've been able to pick a very relatable and convincing topic for our guest after a lot of efforts. So, kudos to that. Whenever we talk about going for vacations or taking a break, we always land up discussing destinations like Dubai, Bali, Maldives, parts of the UK and Europe. But as per our previous conversation, you very correctly pointed out how these are common destinations. People have lost the essence of culture and the exotic aspects of holidays. We don't tend to explore our options if we get good airline tickets and a comfortable hotel to stay. Keeping this in mind, could you suggest your top 3 destinations for a budget trip where one can experience diverse culture and get a new flavor of what travel means?
Hi Hamza, thanks for inviting me for your podcast. The topic of the podcast is one I'm extremely passionate about, so let me just get straight into it. It's just disheartening to see the number of people who don't think beyond the Maldives, Bali, Bangkok, and Dubai for a budget trip. The biggest issue is we're living in a society suffering from FOMO, fear of missing out. Young adults want to visit the Maldives to take pictures on a stupid swing. Bangkok Bali trips have become the norm and pretty much domestic trips, considering the number of Indians visiting these places. There are over 200 countries globally. Are you seriously trying to tell me you can't find a good deal? Traveling has become more of showing off on Instagram rather than getting a feel of the place. But never mind, times have changed and we must change with the times. I'd made a list of a number of countries you can visit on a budget, but I'm only going to talk about 3 of them. 3 countries that stood out, keeping in mind Indians' needs and wants. The first country I'd suggest is Oman. Oman is a wealthy country ruled by the Qaboos family and a sandwich between GCC giants Saudi Arabia and UAE. A majority of people haven't even heard of Oman. Reason being, they're known to be the Switzerland of the Middle East. They follow a policy of non-alignment. In simple terms, they don't take sides. An example is the Gulf crisis of 2018, when Oman, along with Kuwait, were one of the few countries who did not blockade Qatar and didn't join hands with Saudi Arabia and the UAE. One rarely gets to hear about Oman in the media, as it's overshadowed by its powerful neighbor, Saudi Arabia. You often get to hear about them being at odds with Iran on some spat or the other. Then comes the United Arab Emirates, which happens to be the tourist hub of the region as well, as a country that's one of the most sought after tourist destinations for Indians. Then comes Qatar, Kuwait, who are diplomatic and economic powerhouses. Then you've got Yemen, which frankly we shouldn't even get into. Now, why Oman? What's special about Oman? What's special about this tiny country in the Middle East? I can just hop across the Arabian Sea to the glitzy Emirates of Dubai, can't I? You get to see skyscrapers, the largest mall in the world, the tallest building in the world. But ask yourself a question. Are you exploring Arabia? When I visit a country, I personally enjoy soaking in the culture of the place. And frankly, Oman is the only country in the region that's remained the same. In other words, it's known as unspoiled Arabia. Now, when I'm saying unspoiled Arabia, I don't mean you're going to see Bedouins roaming about and camels on the road. My point is, Oman haven't tampered with their environment. Is Oman accessible from India? Answer is yes. There are daily non-stop flights from Mumbai, Delhi, and a number of cities in Kerala, including Cochin, Thiruvananthapuram, and Kannur, with some of India's leading airlines, including Indigo, GoAir, and Air India. It's not going to cost you more than 15,000 rupees if you book your tickets well in advance. Accommodation is pretty good as well. You can find the best 7-star hotels, even some decent lodges. Now, it all depends on what's your budget like. Now, every country in the world has plenty of things to see and do. And Oman is one of those unique countries where you can sightsee and also enjoy some adventure activities. Now, if you're those old school sightseeing tourists, then there are a number of places you can explore, and I'll name some of them. Sultan Qaboos Grand Mosque in Muscat is similar to the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi, which I'm sure most of you all are familiar with. Then comes the Al Alam Palace, which houses the royal family, similar to what Madina Jumeirah is in Dubai. Then you have the Royal Opera House for music, where you can enjoy a night of opera. Then you have the National Museum of Oman, which you can get to see, learn about the history of Oman. It does have a unique history. This region surely does. Then to shop, you can. Now, I'm not going to go into malls because there are plenty of malls in Muscat and Salalah, which happen to be the two leading metro cities in Oman. You can check out Mutra Souk, which is an ancient bazaar where you can find Middle Eastern clothing, spices, and for people of our generation, shisha sets. Two activities you'll must consider are hiking in the Al Hajar Mountains and scuba diving in Salalah. The Al Hajar mountain range is located about 200 odd kilometers from the capital Muscat. It's spread across the UAE and Oman. It happens to be the tallest mountain range in the country. Hiking has gained a lot of prominence over the years, and if you were in Oman, you wouldn't want to miss out on this experience. You can contact a number of agencies who organize camps to these mountains. Now, coming to scuba diving in Salalah, it's an experience. It's unexplored, and Oman has a relatively long coastline, and you can witness some of the most unique marine life in the region. And I'd highly recommend scuba diving in Salalah. It's relatively unexplored, so y'all must consider it. Coming to food, now Oman has a sizable Indian diaspora, so food, and I'm going to stress on vegetarian food, is widely available throughout the country. So I don't see any reason why y'all shouldn't consider Oman. And Oman also happens to be one of the safest countries in the world. The crime rate is minimal, and if you don't believe me, you can check out their statistics on Numbeo. So I think I'm done with Oman. Let's cross the Middle East and head north and descend into Eastern Europe. Serbia is number 2 on the list. I'm sure most of you all wondered to yourself, what's wrong with this guy when I said Serbia? You probably pictured Eskimos sitting and eating some chicken soup in some snow-laden mountain. Well, you're wrong. It's Siberia you've confused Serbia with. Serbia is located in Eastern Europe, close to the Mediterranean. I'll explain to you why you thought of Siberia and not Serbia. Take a world map and head west from the Indian subcontinent. You cross Pakistan, Afghanistan, the Levant, the Middle East, Russia, Europe, hop over the pond and reach the Americas. What we've done is missed a massive stretch of land located in Eastern Europe. Why is it that most people don't bother about Eastern Europe? I bet if I ask any college-going student to name me 3 Eastern European countries, I'd be surprised if they'd name even one. And I don't blame them. It's our parents and grandparents who have to be held responsible as they've trained our minds to miss this region. Reason being, this is former Yugoslavian territory. This entire region made up the state of Yugoslavia, which broke up in the year 1992. Serbia is a relatively new country, and therefore we don't get to hear much about it. Now, why Serbia? Serbia doesn't require a coronavirus test on arrival, so it's your best bet to travel to Serbia today. There's no PCR test required once you land at Belgrade International Airport, you just go straight through. The maximum tourists Serbia sees is from Europe, Western Europe, and they visit Serbia to ski. Skiing is popular in the region, especially skiing in the Kaponik mountain, which happens to be the tallest mountain peak in the country. Seeing the number of Indian tourists visiting Gulmarg makes me wonder that Serbia could be a potentially popular destination in the future. The assumption Serbia is a frozen land doesn't help the tourism industry, especially in Asia. For a more detailed analysis of Serbia, I strongly recommend you all watch Indian YouTuber Mountain Trekker's videos on his Serbia trip. Let's get into what we can do in the capital Belgrade, which happens to be the largest city in Serbia. There's this unique skull castle located just outside Belgrade, where the entire castle is made out of skulls. Then you have Janez Milova Street, which hosts the high-end brands, which is popular among Indian travelers who seek to shop. Then you've got the Belgrade Military Museum, where you can see NATO modern equipment as well as the equipment Romans used 2,000 years ago. The football stadium, known as Rekomic Stadium, has a 55,000 capacity, and if you're lucky you can catch a game. It's not quite like the Manchester Derby, but it is a decent experience. It can get violent at times, but it's worth a try. Belgrade's nightlife is known to be the best Europe has to offer. English and Spanish tourist groups are seen hopping bar to bar during the wee hours of the morning. Food may be an issue for Indian tourists, as Serbians love their meat, but Indian tourists are known to carry their snacks, and it's unlikely that Serbian immigration is going to confiscate it. As for safety, Serbia is relatively safe, but one must be aware of their surroundings at all times. If you use your common sense and stick to well-lit areas, you're unlikely to encounter any trouble. Book your tickets to Serbia today before the country gains prominence and sees millions of tourists each year. Now let's head to a country with a warmer climate closer to the equator. Our next country is located in Western Africa. It's Ghana. Ghana is located in a politically unstable region. You have the Boko Haram prevalent in Nigeria, autocratic and hostile governments in other neighboring countries. That's why tourists generally choose to stay away from Western Africa. Ghana's different though. It's probably the safest African country, also the cheapest to visit out of the other two countries I mentioned earlier. Even 10 days won't be enough in this country. You just wouldn't want to leave. In order to experience Ghana, you'll have to pretend to be a local. Surfing happens to be the most popular sporting activity in Ghana. There are a number of agencies that can train you in surfing before you hit the shores. You wouldn't want to give up an opportunity to surf in the Atlantic Ocean, would you? Second is national parks. Africa is renowned for its unique wildlife. The most popular national parks are Masai Mara in Kenya and Kruger National Park in South Africa. They burn a hole through your wallet and wouldn't fit into the requirements of a budget trip. Cancun National Park is Ghana's largest. The feeling of standing in those grasslands watching the sunset is overwhelming, to say the least. There are other parks as well, but this happens to be the best of the best. You don't want to visit Ghana and buy branded clothes, so go local. You come across unique products and artifacts throughout the country. The most popular market is in Jamestown, Accra. It's located in the city centre. As for food, there won't be much of an issue as there's a sizable Sindhi community in Western Africa. You're bound to find Indian food somewhere or the other. Safety-wise, Ghana isn't too bad. Just keep your belongings safe, and most importantly, keep your passport safely back in the hotel. Stay low key and as far as possible pretend to be a local. Avoid being flashy, as it may attract attention. We Indians are proud about our levels of hospitality, but trust me, African hospitality is second to none. If you don't visit Ghana, it's your loss.
Oman being the Swiss of the Middle East and its political relations, Serbia not requiring a COVID test at Belgrade, skiing being prominent, and the Skull Castle. Ghana being the safest African country and a surfing hotspot. These are new facts in my travel book, and thank you so much for that, Sid. Going on to the next segment, I love what solo travel can do for a person. It helps an individual know himself or herself better and actually teaches you to carry your own weight. I bring this question up because I'm on my way to plan a solo surf trip next month, and this is super exciting. What are the tips that you would give your friends and family who travel alone so that they can have a safe and hassle-free trip?
Solo travel is another ball game altogether. Solo travel is vital for your development as a human being. Your mind opens up, you embrace new cultures, you're not as judgmental. You respect people for who they are and where they come from. Solo travel isn't as prevalent in India as compared to the West, but is slowly gaining prominence with each passing year. I've zeroed down on 3 countries which I believe can give you the most eye-opening experience. Number 1, North Korea. Yes, you heard correctly. North Korea. The communist one, ruled by dictator Kim Jong-un, not the democratic South Korea. Let me start off by saying North Korea is nothing like what is depicted in the media. You have to see it to believe it. North Korea is just like any other country. Sure, their laws are absurd and the ruler's actions can be questioned at times, but North Korea should be on top of your list for a solo travel experience. Contrary to what it's in the media, North Korea issues tourist visas and you're most likely to be accepted. In fact, India and North Korea have diplomatic relations with each other, and India has an embassy in the North Korean capital Pyongyang. The journey to North Korea itself is mesmerizing. You have 2 options presented in front of you. One, you can fly on North Korea's one-star airline, Air Koryo, or take a train from China. I'd take the train. Why not experience the Chinese countryside as well? Once you arrive in Pyongyang, it's a different experience, it's a different world altogether. You feel like you've traveled way back in time. No access to the internet, having a local guide by your side at all times are some of the restrictions that are going to be imposed on you. But mind you, that won't ruin your trip. Trust me, North Korea has plenty to offer. The most exciting experience would be the visit to the demilitarized zone, which happens to be the most militarized area on planet Earth, and that's the border with South Korea. As for safety, just don't be a fool. Don't wander, of course, avoid the internet for a couple of days, and most importantly, bow down in front of any of the ruler and former rulers' pictures and statues. You need to visit North Korea to see it. Next up is a flawed democracy bordering India on its east, a country India helped gaining independence. It's the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Being an Indian, I'm sure when I said Bangladesh, you all thought of poverty, malnutrition, illegal immigrants. But let me burst that bubble for you. Bangladesh has a higher literacy rate than India, lower child mortality, a faster growing economy. A country that I believe is the success story of the 21st century. It's a shame really Bangladesh doesn't get the respect they deserve. The reason I suggested Bangladesh is we as Indians are detached from our neighbors. We can't expect flawless relations with our neighbors given our bloody history. But remember one thing, it's governments that are at odds with each other for their personal gain. You need to speak to people from that land for you to realize we've been cut from the same cloth. I would have suggested Pakistan, but procuring a visa is next to impossible. Bangladesh has missions in multiple Indian cities, so procuring a visa isn't that challenging. Flights are easily available, but I'd suggest you cross the land border. It's a 2-hour car journey from Kolkata to the border crossing known as Petropol. Depending on which day you decide to cross the border will determine the amount of time you spend at the border. It's a strange feeling, really. Bangladesh used to be British Indian territory before the creation of Pakistan in 1947 and subsequently Bangladesh in 1975. As you cross over, all the signboards are in Bengali. People, food, land is all the same, barring the language. Learning some Bengali would come in handy. Take a bus and explore the Khulna district till you arrive in the capital Dhaka, a bustling metro city which is the most densely populated city in the world. Soak in the atmosphere. It's chaotic at any given time of the day. If you think Bombay's traffic is a pain in the ass, good luck with Dhaka. You can believe in any religion, but during the evening you should stand on a terrace and watch the sun go down while evening Islamic prayers take place. The azan in Dhaka is the loudest you will ever experience. Watching the entire simulation of events is an unbelievable experience. Talk to people, get to know them. Bangladeshis love India. In fact, Bangladeshis make up the largest number of tourists to visit India annually. Travel at a time when India is touring Bangladesh for a cricket series, ideally. Cricket is something that unites our region. Watching India take on Bangladesh at the noisy Shere Bangla Stadium would be an amazing experience. One tip, don't wear an Indian jersey. Move away from Dhaka, head to Chittagong, which is the port city and is known to be the graveyard of ships. Cox's Bazar has the longest beach in the world. Plenty of things to do and see in Bangladesh. Exit the country through Comilla into Agartala in India. Bangladesh is just next door. Next time you have a couple of days, just head off. Next up is a country that the latter doesn't even recognize. It's Israel, the Silicon Valley of Asia, home to the most powerful intelligence agency, the Mossad, and the only Zionist state in the world. This tiny democracy is surrounded by hostile neighbors, but has never been defeated in over 70 years of its independence. Initially, Indian tourists were apprehensive about visiting Israel, as possessing an Israeli immigration stamp in your passport could lead you to be denied entry into GCC, OIC, and other Islamic countries which don't recognize Israel's existence. Things have changed. After the landmark Abraham Accords Treaty coming into action in 2020, where Arab countries like the UAE and Bahrain recognized Israel, these reservations have been put to rest. There are direct flights between Tel Aviv with Delhi and Bombay on Israel's national carrier, El Al. A flight that would normally take 4 hours ends up taking over 7 hours. Reason being, Israeli and Israel-bound aircrafts cannot fly through Saudi airspace. In order to avoid Saudi territory altogether, the plane makes a deviation and flies along the Gulf of Oman up north through the Red Sea and finally descending into Ben Gurion International Airport in Tel Aviv. After arriving, there's plenty to do and see. Tel Aviv is like any other metro city in the West. It's a modern, cosmopolitan city, also known as the city of startups. Tel Aviv has a rocking nightlife, with clubs being open 24 hours a day. Israelis of both genders are extremely attractive, so whatever your sexual preference may be, hit the gym and spruce up if you want to date the next time you visit Israel. However, what excites me most about Israel are its historical places. An hour's journey from Tel Aviv, you arrive in Jerusalem, the capital of Israel. You can find a mixture of Zionist and Islamic architecture here. It's a fascinating city. When visiting Jerusalem, you have to enjoy the street food. The meat is freshly cooked and the local delicacies are to die for. Cross over to Palestine by bus and visit their capital, Ramallah. It's an eye-opening experience. Just compare Israel's cities with Palestine's and the difference will shock you. Palestinians are warm people and you'll most likely be invited to a local's house for tea. Travel to Bethlehem from Ramallah to explore the town Jesus Christ was born in. I can go on all day about what y'all can do in Israel, but I'll just keep it to that. The most fascinating aspect of your trip will be exiting Israel. Ben Gurion International Airport is known to be the strictest airport in the world. If you think American and Saudi airports are strict, you're in for a rude shock in Israel. Normally, one arrives at an airport 2 hours before departure, but at Ben Gurion International Airport, you have to arrive 4 hours prior to your flight. That just gives you an idea about how strict things are. Israelis love India and is a big market for Bollywood as well. There's so much in common between India and Israel. Stop thinking and apply for an Israeli visa and have the trip of your life. We've come towards the end, and I'd like to thank Hamza for inviting me on his podcast. I hope to be back again talking about cricket, politics, or religion. So today's podcast was about culture and travel. So I thought, why not mimic a couple of accents? First one up, Ireland.
It's time to reveal my favourite number. My favourite number is the number 2.
The UK. I know lads coming up here today. It's good to see you. And I just want to inform you, my name is Mr. Murray and I'm the mayor of this town. France.
There have been some rumours that my restaurant is not the finest of all of Paris. These people are fools, they know nothing about the food.
Italian.
Well, I tried to tell him. It was a communication issue. I didn't know what to do. I am so very sorry this happened.
Russian. Dmitry, hello! Do you remember that time in Kazan when I took Soviet national anthem and I sang it on the Kremlin? Do you remember that time in Volgograd where I drank vodka and I take military vehicle and crash it into the suburbs? Japanese.
Takemistawa, meet me at my apartment at Nagasaki tomorrow at 4 p.m. These people think they're strong. They're a fool.
Australia.
Mate, do I care?
No, I don't. I just want to sit by the barbie with a can of Foster and not care about life, okay? New Zealand.
Takes about 6 minutes to bake about 10 cakes. Kind of burn him a little bit, didn't I?
Nigeria. Oh, I just want to remind you that anybody who calls a nightmare to me, I deal with you. I don't care if it's your father, mother, brother, sister, daughter, or your son. Ethiopia.
I don't know why they are running away. There's nothing to be afraid about. Everybody here is safe.
Philippines.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, ma'am. Welcome to Manila.
Malaysia.
You cannot talk about religion if you want to take part in politics in Malaysia.
Chinese.
I told you that Ashar is the one that the businessman we're going to go for. I cannot keep running around correcting mistakes all the stupid, incompetent people make. Good day to you.
South Africa.
All I can say is that I'm very proud to be South African. We've got 3 capitals. We've got Bloemfontein, Cape Town and Pretoria.
US cowboy.
Hi there. Let me tell you all something about Marianne. She looked good from behind, but when she turned around, she looked like a cat of dog poop.
Canadian.
Like every time I go to England, they were like, are you American? I'm like, no dude, I'm Canadian. Get the hell out of here. It's about time you realize the difference, eh?
Trinidad and Tobago.
First of all, I just want to say thanks a lot to the Kolkata Knight Riders and picking me up in the IPL action. Means a lot.
Mexican.
So I said to him, I love your sister, man. And he said, you can't have her. And I said, what are you talking about? We're together. There is no ownership involved in this case.
Arab.
Our sovereignty is the red line. You do not cross that line. The state of Qatar is an independent country, and no other country on this world can bully us.
Scottish. You know what, I can totally understand being called British, but if you ever cross the line and call me English, I swear to God I'll come there and break your jaw. You go there, pal. Liverpool.
Me girlfriend left me, no matter what I do, no matter how hard I try, she won't take me back.
Posh British.
Well, there are a great number of people on that list that I most deeply despise. One of them has been my family's arch rival since the mid-18th century. Yes.
Texas.
There used to be a time when I used to enjoy coming up here, but I think we have an infestation. Looks like we need to call him the Turtle Man.
I can do a lot of my accents, but I think I'll just keep it at that. And just the last, thank you to Hamza for having me on the podcast.
Sid, this was amazing, and I think it's taken my podcast to the next level. Thank you so much for being part of this and presenting this to us. It's super special to me. I hope to connect with you soon on another podcast session where we could talk about politics and cricket, and maybe there you can impersonate some cricketers or politicians. So thank you so much once again. To all my listeners and subscribers of Out of the Hood, if you ever want to share anything about yourself, bring your brand to light, Out of the Hood is just a click away. So connect with me and maybe you can be on the next podcast. Thank you so much for listening. See you.